So, the end of the gardening season is upon most of us, or many of us, I should say, especially if you're in the north. If you're in the south, you could probably squeeze out another maybe month or so, depending upon where you live in the south. If you're in Key West and you're gardening, pretty much garden year round. But, yeah, the days are getting shorter, and that's always a thing, too, with a lot of plants. Because many plants, not only do they need the warmth, but they need a certain amount of sunlight to grow. All of that being said, I'm already thinking about next year, and I think a lot of other people who already garden are thinking about next year. But if you want to get into gardening, or if you're thinking about jumping into the world of gardening, now is probably the best time to start thinking about next year. Going from the fall into the winter is the time, I think, that you really want to consider, yes, I want to start gardening, and you know what, that patch of my front lawn or backyard, these are the places that I want to grow, or I want to build a raised bed, and this is where I'm going to put it. This is the time to maybe start thinking about it, because you have time to think about it. If you decide to get into gardening in the springtime, you're sort of in a rush, because you have to turn around and quickly figure it out, what it is you're going to plant, where you're going to plant it, and get that all established in the spring. And if you have a short growing season, you're losing that time. The other thing you can think about, or you might want to think about, is what type of garden do you want to grow? Do you want to grow a veg garden? Do you want to grow a flower garden? Do you want to grow a shady garden? Do you want to grow all of the above? You can grow whatever you want. It can be as small as a couple of pots, or it can be as large as a few acres. Well, let's be honest. None of this is really rocket science. It's just a matter of taking a few moments to decide what it is that you want to do and where you want to do it. Now, when I decided to move to North Carolina, the decision for me was a lot simpler, because I was able to obtain some land with the purchase of my house. I'm on an acre and a half, and the decision for me was I'm going to build a large garden. I don't want to mow an acre and a half of grass. I want something nice to look at, and I want to plant a lot of things. Flowers, vegetables, etc. So, taking up the whole acre and a half for the garden. And once you've decided what you're going to plant and where you're going to plant it, the next thing that you have to think about is what resources you're going to need. If you're growing a garden just in a few pots, if you're growing a few plants here, a few plants there, maybe a pepper plant in one pot, and you're going to do some flowers in another pot, well, just need a few pots and some potting soil. And then, of course, there's the plants themselves. Do you want to start your plants from seeds, which is inexpensive, a few dollars for a pack of seeds? Or do you want to buy plants as a whole, which can cost anywhere from $5 to $30, depending upon what it is you're growing? Then there's things like your gardening supplies. Are you going to need a shovel? Do you already have a shovel, a trowel, a rake, a watering can? I did a whole article on that on my blog, growinggreenfinger.com, Garden Ramblings. Go check it out. You have to think about what tools you may or may not need when you decide to start gardening. Again, if you're going to garden in a few pots, you're not going to need much. Maybe a small trowel, and that's pretty much it. If you're going to garden in an acre and a half, you might need a few more tools. Another thing you may want to consider is your irrigation. Where do you live, and how much water are you going to need for your plants? If you're somebody who lives in an arid or semi-arid environment and you want to grow roses, you're probably going to need some sort of watering system, maybe a drip irrigation system. If you live in the south where we get more rain, and again, depending upon where in the south it is that you are, then you may not need an irrigation system, and something as simple as a hose may carry you through those days or weeks where you don't get any rain. Do you believe this? This is a grass Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. Of course, there's a whole lot more to it. I just cut it down, but I had to rip this out of the ground. Nature. It's amazing. Now, as for me and this garden, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm thinking about next year already and some of the things I want to do and some of the things I want to perhaps change. One of them is going to be the new and improved in-ground vegetable beds, which I'll show you in the next video, maybe, hopefully. But I'm going to start preparing those new in-ground vegetable beds now so that they're hopefully ready for next spring. The rose garden, I plan on trying to get another section done next year, part of the front section. If you didn't know, I have a rose garden, and if you want, you can go over to the playlists on YouTube, and I have a rose garden playlist. So all the different stages and all the things I've done up to this point for the rose garden. Now for the entrance, I'm really looking for an 8-foot wide arbor, a trellis, something that I can grow my climbing rose on, because I bought a climbing rose last winter in hopes that I'd be planting it this spring, but I never got the arbor I wanted to because reasons. But I need to get something to grow that on. I've been considering a few things, but nothing's set in stone yet. We'll have to see what next year brings, but hopefully I can get that in place next year so I can get my climbing rose on it and rocking. The orchard is going to get some new trees, and with that I'm going to have to put together some more fencing. So I think what I'll do is I will continue with my game plan right now is to continue doing the rebar stakes and then doing twine around them so far out from the plants, and of course soaking that with the deer spray, and then hopefully that will keep the deer away for most of the winter / spring. I think that's short term. That's all I have. Again, just sort of planning for or thinking about next spring already. Here in the vegetable garden, not only will I be doing a new and improved in-ground bed area, but my wife purchased for my birthday, which was last week. Now I'm officially the big 5-0. Wow, it hurts saying that. If I'm lucky, I live to 75, all well and able, which means I have 25 years to try to move this garden along and get it to some sort of level of completion. She bought me 4 Birdie's beds, metal raised beds. I have one in place. I have to build 3 more. Actually, I apologize. 2 more. I have 2 in place. I have to build 3 more. 2 more. My math is all off. It's the sun. It's cooking my head today. I have beds to fill. I have things to do. And of course, all this will be happening over the next few months. So again, these are just some of the thoughts that I'm thinking of so far as the upcoming 2023 season already. Well, there it is. 40 bags of mulch. You may be asking yourself, why did I get so much? The reason is I'm going to try to expand at least 3 beds. I have to bury the dahlias because I'm not going to dig them up. The dahlias are all planted shallow. And though we don't get super hard frosts, I'd like to get a little more compost on them and then some more mulch. And then that should see them through the winter until next spring. I'm also trying to extend the bed down the driveway. So I have a lot of bags of compost that I need to get moved as well. But that won't be happening today. No, I'm done. 40 bags of mulch to cover all that up is, whew, it's a lot. And it's like 77 today, so it's a little on the warm side. So I think I mentioned something in the title about a contest. And I thought about what I was going to do. And I think what I'm going to do, since we're talking about gardening next year and expanding our gardens if we already have them, and etc., etc., I'm going to give away some seeds. So here's how we're going to work it. I'm going to get some seeds out of my own personal collection. Some of them may open, some of them not opened, and I'm going to put them all together in an envelope. And all you need to do is leave a comment below. Your comment could literally say, comment. Or you could tell me what you're thinking about doing next year in your garden, or if you're deciding to start a garden, or what you'd like to do with gardening. Something. Just leave a comment below. I will then have my wife choose a random number between 1 and, I don't know, let's say we get 5 comments, 1 and 5. I'll have her choose randomly choose number. If we get 100 comments, it'll be between 1 and 100. She'll randomly choose a number. That comment will be the winner. And then what I will do is announce the winner on the next video. If anybody comments. Nobody may comment. I don't get a lot of comments on these videos. So if you leave a comment, you have a chance of winning a package of seeds. So I will announce the winner. I will tell that winner to then email me, and then I will get that person's mailing address, and that person will then get their seeds. So what have you been thinking about in your garden? Are you thinking about expanding? I don't know. Leave me a comment below. That's going to do it for today. I'm a little hot. I'm a little tired. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.